Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today I want to talk to you about 6 things that we do every night in our tiny home that we not necessarily do it when we are in a regular home. I can never remember if our house is 18 or 1600 square feet, the one that we're living right now. And when we go to live in our tiny home, like a third of the month, we have to move into less than 300 square feet. So there is a big difference in space, and having to make everything work, it does take a process. It does take some kind of a technique and a routine that is completely different of when we are living in a regular home. So a lot of you want to know the main differences between tiny living and regular home living, and I'm going to refer to it this way. I think there's a lot of differences, but in this kind of videos I just want to share with you some of them in different aspects so you can know some of the things that are going to stay the same, but there are going to be other things that you're going to learn along the way that will make your life easier to live in a small space. It's not only the small space, but being organized and being a little bit more resourceful, what it's going to give you a better experience while you are on the road. So we realized that instead of taking a shower in the morning, we like to take a shower in the evening time. So that means that if we are in a mountain and we're spending the day, we have to leave by 10 because they close the park or whatever, we take a shower there. So as soon as we're done, then we go inside, we all take showers, we make sure that we put everything away, we put our pajamas on, and then we will move to the area where we're going to sleep for the day. That not necessarily needs to be a campground for us, because we already spent the day in an area that we enjoy. We were hiking, we were sweaty, so we do need to take a shower. So that means that one of the things that I've been doing every single day, or that we've been kind of sharing that chore, is to do the shower. I bought a squeegee, so one of the things that we do is the last person that is always kind of switching is going to use the squeegee and make sure to get rid of all the water. In this case, I'm going to show you a clip of when I did it. We were at the beach, we were done. Remember, I shared with you guys, that we spent the day at the beach, and if you missed that video, I'll have it right here. But after being at the beach, we were still in the parking lot of the beach, but we decided to all take showers there, and it's important to get the shower clean right away. It's something that, to be honest, I don't do it every single time that we take a shower in our home. It's just a once a week kind of chore, doing the shower, the shower area and the bathrooms and stuff. I mean, I do keep up with it, but I feel like in a tiny home, if you don't really deal with the stuff right away, it becomes a bigger problem. Because if I don't do the shower cleaning every single day, and I'm saying with a squeegee, getting rid of the water and then drying it up with a paper towel, with a paper napkin, or with a regular towel. That way our shower is always clean, and I don't feel the need to scrub it once a week, because it really doesn't accumulate any kind of soap or anything, because we've been cleaning it every single day. So once a week, what I do is I usually use some kind of disinfectant, and it's shiny, it's clean, and I know that I'm just going to get rid of any bacteria or anything that may be sitting on top. But since we're drying the shower as well, we're making sure that we don't let any kind of fungus or any kind of water just kind of drip to the sides, ruin the wood and stuff like that. So for us, being in our home, we don't really do this extra step. But where you're living in a tiny home, or when you're living in a space where everything is smaller, it's really important to keep things clean as you go. Number 2, we do take the garbage every single day out at night. Now, if we have a lot of garbage, then we'll do it several times a day. But one of the things that we know that is that before we leave wherever we are, let's say we're in the mountains, or if we are the beach, like the clips that I'm going to show you, it's very important that before we leave to go sleep somewhere, we need to get rid of the garbage. Getting rid of the garbage, number one, you have to be closer to somewhere where you can just, you know, because you're not going to go into an apartment complex or something. So while we are still at the beach and they have garbage containers, then we can get rid of it right there. This we do it after we have dinner. So for us, we'll get rid of all the food. When you're living in a tiny home, your kitchen is by your bedroom and your bathroom is by your bedroom. So it's really important for us to leave the garbage outside. 3 of us do have asthma and we try to keep the air as clean as possible. So dealing with the dogs and dealing with a, you know, cleaner home, since it's so small, it's very, very important. So in a regular home, sometimes we don't take the garbage at night and we can keep it for a couple of days and maybe do it in the morning, the next morning. But when we're living in our tiny home, it's really important that we get rid of the garbage because we don't want to smell the onions while we're trying to sleep. Number 3 is we do the floors several times a day, but at nighttime it's very important to do one more sweep and also do the mopping. I have a Bona mop and it's amazing. I feel like it really helps me keep the floors clean, and at the same time, you know, it doesn't leave any kind of residue behind. It dries very, very quickly, and I don't really have to use the Bona cleanser. I can use my own with vinegar and it will be exactly the same. Just the system of the Bona, it's really, really good. So what I usually do is when the dogs are still outside, you know, they're enjoying being in the sand or whatever, I usually just make sure that after I take out the garbage, after the bathroom is clean, I just do the last sweep of the day and I do the floor once again. I have 2 dogs. They shed a lot, especially the big one. He sheds. He's 140 pounds, so he's a big dog. He has a lot of hair, and it's, I mean, I do love him. He's my baby, so I'm not going to complain that he sheds, but he does shed when we have to deal with it every single day. So we do this mopping and sweeping several times a day, but right before we go to bed, it's really important that we do it so we don't have the accumulation of hairs of the afternoon in the main area, because that's where we sleep too, and we don't want to be breathing that as well. So they are going to shed. I mean, the big one is going to shed throughout the night, and I'm going to have to sweep it again in the morning. But maybe here at the house, I don't even, you know, sweep it before we go to bed. Sometimes I just do it once a day, and not necessarily needs to be at night. And if I'm going to do the vacuum, I do it once a day. In a tiny home, it's important to do it several times a day because it's a smaller space, and here, you know, it's more noticeable, and I think it's a little bit more healthy for me and my lungs. Number 4 is we have to put everything away. I think that when you're living in a regular home, you probably have your sink with a few things on top. Maybe your hairspray that you use in the morning. Maybe you do have the soap when, you know, you're going to wash your hands, and you have a towel and you have different things on the sink. And when you are living in a tiny home, you have to make sure that you put everything away, because we're going to drive our tiny home to wherever we're sleeping for the night. So that means that when we are moving, everything, it's like an earthquake inside. So we have to make sure that everything gets put away in our tiny home, because otherwise it's very dangerous while you're driving. That, you know, if you left a knife on top of your, you know, sink and you hit the brakes, you know, the knife might hurt you or somebody in the home. So it's very important for us to put everything away, which is something that it's a good practice that I should do it every single night here, but it's not something that I do because I don't need to do it. I am not going through an earthquake every time I leave things behind, because I'm not going to move my house. Number 5, in this one, it's something that I should do every single day, and I don't do it in a regular home, and that is deciding whatever is dirty and whatever can be reused as far as clothes. Now, when you are at the beach, of course, you are going to be changing your clothes. You're going to put your swimsuit, you're going to put the clothes that you're going to go to the beach with, and then you're going to be switching the clothes that you had before getting there, right? So for me, it kind of piles up when we are spending the day somewhere, and we usually do, what we do is every one of us has their own bins where they have their clothes, and that way at night you can put everything on top of your bed or in a surface. You can look at everything, decide whatever is dirty, put it in the hamper to be washed, and whatever can be reused because it's not dirty, it doesn't stink, and it's just perfectly fine to be used once more, then we just fold it and put it away and remember to use that the next time. It's just a good practice overall because it kind of helped us realize that we don't need to wash our clothes as much as we thought we did before when we are here at our regular home. And that way we can reuse the same clothes that it's completely clean, and before we just kind of toss it in the laundry room. That way we go through everything that we had for the day, we put away the clothes that it's still clean, we kind of fold everything, make everything fit as it was in our little closet area, which are those bins as you can see in the little clips that I'm going to share with you, and that way it can go back into the closet and we don't have any clothes laying around. What I usually do is by this time I am already in my pajamas, so every single piece of clothing that I own and that I have in our tiny home, it's either to be put in the hamper to be washed or it's in my closet. But I don't leave anything out, so that way I don't have to be moving my clothes that I don't need at the moment. The next morning when I wake up, I just remove my pajamas, put it in the closet, and get the clothes that I'm going to use for the day. And it's finally, it's making the bed again. I am going to show you I think it's going to be my next video, where what I do every single morning to make sure that I get sun in the bed, that everything, you know, that I can open the windows and make sure that everything, it's more, you know, that it's not closed in or anything like that. I like to open the windows, I like to remove all the sheets and the comforters and everything, and kind of let it breathe while we are out and about for the day. So for me, I do that once a week and once a day, and then I make sure that before I go to bed I remake my bed. Of course, when I'm here I don't have to do that. Even if I take a nap or something, I don't remake my bed. But living in a tiny home, it means that some of the hair of the dogs, it's going to end up on top of my bed. Even though they're not allowed on the beds, they are going to end up there because they're flying around, we have some wind, we open the windows, whatever the case may be, and I don't like to sleep with dog hair in my bed. So what I usually do is right before I go to bed, I remake the bed, and that is something that we all do just to make sure that we get rid of all the hair. And if we had to climb on the bed because, I don't know, we had to grab something from the closet and we had a little bit of sand or whatever in our feet, and that sometimes happened to the kids, then we make sure to clean everything before we go into bed. Because if we just took a shower, you know, we're smelling nice, we're wearing our pajamas, and the bed needs to be clean. I mean, in my opinion, it's something that needs to be done. And when we're living in a regular home, the dogs are not even allowed in the bedroom. So it's not like the hair can get into our beds, and it's a bigger space, so it doesn't really need to be done. But in a tiny home, you really have to make sure that if you want your bed to be clean, and you know, you've been watching me cook in our tiny kitchen, I mean, sometimes I even have to use our bed as a counter to keep stuff over there. So it's really important for me to make sure that everything is nice and clean before actually crawling into bed. So those are a few of the things that I wanted to share with you, that I have clips on, and I wanted to kind of make a difference between tiny living and our regular life. And I'm not complaining about these things. I think they're good practices. I think it's going to teach a lot of discipline to all of us, but especially the kids, to be more responsible, to have enough but not have too much because you're not going to have room to store it, because you don't need that much, because you know, it's just one of those things that it's also helping them at the same time to be not only a clean person and to take care of your own stuff, but also know that you don't need that much. You can do a lot of things without needing stuff, without needing to have more stuff to keep yourself entertained, because there's a lot of things that you can keep yourself entertained with without buying stuff. So I hope that you enjoyed this little comparison and that you continue to join me in this journey. I will be sharing with you another vlog this week, and I hope that you join me for that as well. And I will continue to share this kind of differences in different videos, because you guys want to know what the main differences are as far as cleaning, as far as cooking, as far as living everyday life, the kids, the school, and stuff like that. So I think this is a great way to just sit down and share with you guys. So thanks again for watching this video. I'll see you on my next one.